Come on now, fellas! We've got to answer the bell. Now let's go!
Welcome into yet another edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, coming to you from the Lee Company studio. Glad to have you guys with us. What a fantastic Friday. It's finally Friday, and we are free again. We've got our motors wound up for a wild weekend, and a wild weekend indeed it will be. What a great night last night as well. Plenty of great stuff to get to today. EDDY ALVAREZ of the Nashville Sounds will join us. We've talked enough about him over the last week that we're excited to get him on and talk to him directly. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll also react to the NFL draft first round and talk a little bit about what might happen tonight in rounds 2 and 3 as it pertains to the Tennessee Titans. All of that and much, much more coming your way. But first, before we do anything, we have to say happy birthday. Look at that. They got signs and everything.
That's amazing.
Mo Patton on the backside of 30 again. Is the anniversary of his 39th birthday today.
Yeah, the 20th anniversary. Yeah.
Hey,
That's crazy. Which one of y'all did this?
That would be me. You should know.
Chris.
All right.
Which one of y'all? Who did this?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I guess.
Happy birthday to Mo. So for those
Justin Lamb texted me and told me to make you sing to me, and I said no. Hard pass.
I think it was Matt Rogers that sang happy birthday to Justin on a Summit broadcast.
Was out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was wild. So
that sounds like something Matt would do, and that may be where Justin got the idea. But we can respectfully pass. But
yeah,
thank you.
I'll try not to deal with that.
Yeah.
But we have a great show, Mo. But how are you doing? How are you feeling today? Do you feel any older than you were yesterday?
I don't feel any older than I typically do. So I guess that's a good thing.
Well, it could be worse, I guess. You could be feeling real old today, but you're not. That's great.
No.
You're only as old as you feel. That's what I
Well,
say.
even as late as I was up last night and as early as I was up this morning, I don't feel, particularly, especially old. So I guess that's a good thing.
Hey, we're all in then here. We're all in. And because of that, we're going to have a good show. By goodness, we're just going to do it.
Let's do it.
But before we do the rest of the show, let's get you some results from yesterday, the few that we have, and this weekend schedule. We do it on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support youth sports across Middle Tennessee.
Baseball action yesterday. Rockville 13-8 winners over Blackman. Frank Hughes 12-8 over Hampshire. It was Franklin 11-3 winners against Brentwood, and Loretto blanks Hardin County 12-0. Oakland edges Siegel 5-4, and Whites Creek was a 21-3 winner over Glencliff. Softball action. Lipscomb Academy 9-6 against Christ Presbyterian, and Zion Christian down Hickman County 11-1. Boys soccer action. Greenbrier 9, Macon County 1. Smyrna 2-0 over Lebanon, and McGavock shutting out Springfield 6-0. It was Murfreesboro Central 2-1 winners against DeKalb County, and Zion Christian the same score over Agathos Classical. College baseball action. Tennessee walks it off against Mississippi State in the bottom of the ninth with a dinger, 8-7 the score there. And in Major League Baseball, the Marlins scored 5 in the ninth to upend the Braves 5-4, while the Cardinals shut out the Giants in the finale of their 4-game set 6-0. The Sounds would have tied the game on an 8th inning hit, except that the ball bounced over the outfield fence and forced the game tying run back to third base. And they couldn't get him across, and Omaha defeats Nashville 2-1 last night. Tough loss there for the Sounds.
Man, the ground rule comes back to bite you. Baseball action today. 4:00 start from McGavock at Stratford. At 4:30, Mount Juliet Christian visits Clarksville Academy. Also, Davidson Academy hosts Donaldson Christian, and Gallatin is at Father Ryan. University School of Nashville is at Franklin Road Academy at 4:30, as is Nashville Christian visiting Friendship Christian. Good Pasture hosts Ezel Harding at 4:30. Also 4:30 starts for Webb at Middle Tennessee Christian and Hunters Lane at Whites Creek. At 5, Cornersville goes to Richland. 5:30, East Hickman hosts Hampshire. Mount Pleasant is at Fayetteville. Zion Christian goes to Hickman County. 6 o'clock, Beach hosts Ross View. Clarksville Northeast hosts Russellville, Kentucky. Dixon County is at Christ Presbyterian Academy. Portland goes to East Robertson. Independence is at Franklin. Overton is at Laverne. Marshall County hosts Columbia Central. Clarksville travels to McCracken County, Kentucky. Nolansville taking on visiting Rockvale. Hendersonville is at Oakland. Forest goes to Page. Station Camp hosts Wilson Central. Centennial is at Stewart's Creek. Montgomery Central goes to Sycamore. At 6:30, White House is at Cheatham County. Hillsborough is at Harpeth. Lincoln County hosting Giles County. Loretto hosting Lawrence County. Hume Fogg goes to Pope Prep. And Creekwood is at Watertown. And at 7:45, Green Hill is at Bradley Central.
Tomorrow at 9 a.m., I guess, Westmoreland is at Harriman.
Well, it'll be 9 a.m. It's just who's 9 a.m. we're talking about there. Yeah.
Exactly. Kings Academy takes on Westmoreland immediately following. Pope Prep will be at Father Ryan at 11 a.m. Franklin Central, Kentucky hosting East Robertson at 11. Also at 11 is Decatur County Riverside and Eagleville. Also Centennial at Montgomery Bell Academy. It's Greenbrier at Springfield. Antioch will be at Brainerd, which is probably, I don't know, is Brainerd Eastern time zone? I guess Mo is frozen. Waverly's
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Waverly is at Fairview. CPA's at Franklin at noon. Liberty Creek's at Green Hill, and Independence hosts Siegel. Also, Watertown at Upperman. At 1 o'clock is Hillwood at Brentwood Academy. Christ Presbyterian at Ensworth. Lipscomb Academy hosting Ravenwood. At 2, it's Rockville at Tullahoma. Franklin County at Wilson Central. Brentwood goes to Cookeville at 3. Bradley Central and Mount Juliet at 3:30 Eastern, most likely. Montgomery Central at Dixon County at 6, and then times unknown. Murfreesboro Central and Decatur County Riverside, and Eagleville and Murfreesboro Central. I guess they're playing a tri-match like volleyball.
Who knows? Yeah. Softball action today. Nolansville is at Carterville, Illinois. Also at 5, Independence visits Spring Hill. Zion Christian hosting Riverside Christian. At 5:30, Lipscomb Academy goes to Murfreesboro Central. Also at 5:30, Overton is at Brentwood. At 6 o'clock, Laverne is at Stewart's Creek. At 6:30, Forest hosts Riverdale and Rockvale hosts White County. Saturday softball action. Camden Central comes to Columbia Central for a noon doubleheader. Also at noon, Blackman is at Rockvale. Boys soccer action today at 5. Davidson Academy is at Donaldson Christian. Lawrence County is at Columbia Academy. Also, Fayetteville is at Culleoka. Kip Nashville is at Westmoreland. At 7 o'clock, Gallatin is at Beach. Montgomery Bell Academy is at 5. Mount Juliet Christian hosts East Robertson. Page hosting Christ Presbyterian Academy. Hickman County goes to Rockvale. Ross View is at White House Heritage. And Laverne is at Wilson Central.
Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., breakfast with the Bobcats, Hume Fogg at Giles County. Hillsboro will take on Giles County at noon. Columbia Central will be at Oakland at noon. At 1 o'clock, Merrill Hyde will take on White House Heritage, and Valor Collegiate will be at John Overton at 4. College baseball this weekend series, Mississippi State and Tennessee will finish a 3-game set today and tomorrow. Kentucky will be at Vanderbilt starting today, as well as Franklin Grace Christian is where I was going with FGCU. How weird is that? Florida Gulf Coast will be at Austin Peay. Murray State is at Belmont. Lipscomb is at Eastern Kentucky. Middle Tennessee State's at home against La Tech. And Trevecca will play doubleheaders tomorrow and Sunday at Ohio Dominican. In the Mid-South Conference Tournament, these are 3-game sets. The winner of the 3-game set will advance to the bracket play, and that is Shawnee State at Cumberland and Pikeville at UT Southern. Junior college action, Columbia State is at Walter State, and Motlow State is at Volunteer State.
Wouldn't mind seeing Franklin Grace Christian adopt those blue and green unis, though, actually.
Those are sweet.
Yeah. College softball action this weekend. Trevecca is at Ursuline for a doubleheader that started 12 minutes ago. Weekend series in college softball. Tennessee is at Arkansas tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. Okay. Austin Peay is at Liberty. Drake is at Belmont. Texas San Antonio comes to Middle Tennessee State. Eastern Kentucky is at Lipscomb. Tennessee State goes to Tennessee Tech. Cumberland hosting Georgetown College, and Shawnee State is at UT Southern. In junior college softball action, Columbia State is at Walter State, and Motlow State is at Vol State. Major League Baseball this weekend, the Braves begin a 4-game series tonight at Citi Field against the Mets. Also, the Angels are at Milwaukee against the Brewers. Cincinnati goes to the nearly empty Oakland Coliseum to take on the Athletics. St. Louis is at Chavez Ravine against the Dodgers. And in minor league baseball, the Storm Chasers of Omaha continue their series at First Horizon Park against the Sounds. NBA playoff action tonight, Game 6, Grizzlies at Lakers, 9:30. You can see it on ESPN. As the Grizzlies try to avoid elimination, the Lakers lead that series 3-2. In MLS action tomorrow, Atlanta United is at Nashville Soccer Club. That's a 12:30 first touch. And that is your rundown.
All right. If you missed last night, go back to at @MS_sports today and go check out the video from Boombas in East Nashville. Mo was on hand with Ray Dosky and Bernard Pollard, and boy, did they have some. I'll tell you, you didn't have nearly as many hot takes as Bernard did. Bernard Pollard had zero regard for anybody's feelings last night.
No filter for the former NFL safety, which puts him in position to have no filter. I mean, he knows his stuff, man. That was fun. It was fun being involved with that. It was fun to listen to him and his takes, and I enjoyed that. But no, I don't have the basis of knowledge that allows me to have those type takes and stand behind them like that. But There's some good stuff. And yeah, go back and take a look at it as we broke down the first round and how it played out. It was fun.
Before we go any farther, I need to just say that my theory on the Colts, clearly proven wrong last night, is they take Anthony Richardson in the 4 hole over Will Levis, who ended up dropping out completely of the first round. And that's unfortunate for him. I feel bad for the kid. I feel bad for anybody. I don't care, because the fact is that other people talked him up into this, top 5 pick. And I don't think anybody else necessarily agreed with those outside sources that were saying that. And yet, because of them, he was sitting in Kansas City last night and had to endure a really difficult evening.
He had to endure a really difficult evening, and it really was unfortunate. That said, he put that information out as well. I mean, Will Levis told people he was going to be the number 1 pick. Now, maybe he was telling people what he had been told. I'm not sure, but I get feeling bad for him. I think sometimes you have to be real with yourself. And so I'm kind of struggling with.
Yeah, but I mean, if everybody is telling you you're going to be a top 5 pick, you don't not go. I mean, you can't not be there. And everybody was telling him that. And that's not necessarily his fault, I guess. It's certainly not entirely.
It's a lot. I mean, there's a lot. And the thing is, this happened. It's not like Will Levis is the first person this has happened to.
Nope. I mean, it happened to Malik Willis.
Happened to Lamar Jackson.
I mean, there are a lot of guys who had that situation, and I felt bad for all of them. And then I felt really good in the 3rd round last year because I thought the Titans got a steal at Malik Willis. So I thought the Titans had a good draft. I mean, obviously it was 1 pick, but I think it was a solid pick. Certainly not a sexy pick, but Peter Skoronski is going to give them a little more stability on the left side of their line, whether it's at guard or tackle, doesn't matter. He's a very flexible guy who can play any position. And I think that has proven over the last 3 years, Mo, to be extremely important, is how well you can flex between different positions on the offensive line.
Well, one of the reasons it has proven to be so important is because the Titans have sustained so many injuries. And with that said, you'd kind of hope that wouldn't be the case this time around.
You hope that, but at least you are giving yourself a plan in the event that it does. And
because
I think
Rand has a plan, right?
Having a plan and being prepared is half the battle. So I think the Titans did a great job last night taking Peter Skoronski. We are going to take a closer look at the draft in the 3:00 segment. So make sure to stick around at 3:00. We'll take a look and talk about who won the draft in the first round, at least. What do we think the Titans are going to do in rounds 2 and 3 tonight? We'll get to all of that and much, much more. But did your initial thoughts on just, how the first round played out? Are you, at least for the Titans, are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, I don't have an issue with Peter Skoronski there. I mean, particularly once Paris Johnson was off the board, I kind of would have liked to have seen JSN, Jackson Smith in Jibba, the receiver from Ohio State. But I don't, Skoronski is not a bad pick. I'm curious, and I don't think we'll ever know, but I wonder if Darnell Wright would have been in play at 11 had he gotten to 11 rather than the Bears taking him at 10.
I think he would have been. And the only reason I said it is because Rand was on record saying this is a wide receiver deep draft. felt like you were going to get one of the top 10 receivers. And there are 10 receivers who are good enough to play in the league in this draft, and there are 3 offensive linemen. And that's the difference,
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. So, I will be interested to see how today goes for the Titans and whether they go or where they go at 41 in particular. And then, like you said, we'll get into that more later. But I don't have a problem with what they did last night.
Yeah, me either. I thought it was a solid pick. We'll take a break. When we come back, it is Friday, so that means we'll talk sounds. Eddie Alvarez of the Nashville Sounds will join us here on Main Street Sports today in the Lee Company studio. So you guys stick around with us. We'll be right back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Attention Tennessee homeowners, we want to buy your house. Hi, we are Real Property Solutions, a local real estate investing group. We pay cash for all types of property, so you walk away with more money in your pocket because we eliminate any fees, closing costs, and commissions. Now the best part, we can buy your house as is, meaning you don't have to do a thing to your property. You get to take what you want, leave what you don't, and don't even worry about cleaning. We close on your timeline, whether that's 7 days or 70 days. Interested in selling? Just give us a call and we'll come out to your property and quote you a cash offer within 24 hours. Please call 615-527-8750. That's 615-527-8750.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, coming to you from the Lee Company studio here, and glad to be doing so. Every Friday at this time, we're talking a little Nashville Sounds. You can catch me and Justin, I guess. Justin, will you be there Sunday?
Yes, I believe so.
Justin and I will be there Sunday for Family Day. Come say hello to us. Register for a Main Street Sports Today prize pack that's going to include a hat and a shirt, and you can get one of those Rand Has a Plan shirts in this prize pack. So register for that. Download the Main Street Media TV app on your iPhone or Android immediately, and you'll be additional. You can get extra entries into that. So come see us. We'd love to have it, and also come see a fantastic baseball team led by one of the most unique players in all of baseball, two-time Olympic gold medalist in 2 different sports, and that is EDDY Alvarez. EDDY, thanks for joining us today, man. EDDY, can you tell us a little bit about what it's been like being in Nashville? I know you've been kind of all over the place, but Nashville is certainly a different city than where you've been.
Oh, it's a great city. It's a great town to have a minor league team in. There's always a lot of action here. The crowd's great. Fan base is great. I'm just excited that I get to pursue my big league dream of sticking around the big leagues a little longer in a city like this. So I'm absolutely honored and Tennessee proud now.
That's nice. EDDY, Chris mentioned your uniqueness to athletics, I guess. I mean, a speed skater and a baseball player. I mean, it's not a combination that very many of us are familiar with, I don't guess. As a youngster, how were you able to meld those two together? I mean, they just really feel diverse to a guy from Middle Tennessee, I guess.
It's very diverse, very unique. I think the only person that's ever done speed skating and played in Major League Baseball was about 100 years ago. His name was Jim Thorpe, Oklahoma native. I got to play in Oklahoma City last year, being with the Dodgers, and it just so happened that there was a Jim Thorpe museum that's attached to the stadium, and I got to have a private tour through there and learn a little bit about his journey. Being a minority in this country, I can relate a lot to that as well. But being a speed skater from Miami, Florida, I don't know if anything can top that, to be honest. But really, things just kind of fell into my lap. Got a pair of skates when I was little, and grew up in the 90s in Miami, which was all about Walkmans and going to the beach and rollerblading. So I got scouted out, and it just so happened to take me all the way to the Olympics and touch Olympic ice and bring back some hardware for the United States. And then being Cuban American, baseball runs very deep in my blood. My family loves baseball. My brother played minor league baseball for 7 years, made it to the AAA level. And I was kind of followed in his footsteps in that sense. So after the Olympics, something was just kind of itching me to come back to the sport. Didn't think I was going to be able to make it all the way to the major leagues and the Olympics on top of that. But man, what a journey. I'm absolutely blessed. I'm honored. I'm proud. And really, it's just a blessing that I get to represent my family, my culture, and do this for them, because they've sacrificed so much just to get over here and in search for more opportunity.
Yeah, you mentioned rollerblading. And you're talking to a guy who has never been on skates. How much different are roller skates or rollerblades versus skates? The metal sharp blades.
Yeah, so inline speed skates are on 4 wheels, and each wheel is about the size of a scooter wheel, 100 millimeters. And you got 4 of them lined up. A lot different feel being on rollerblades than it is being on a ice blade that's roughly the size of a quarter in diameter, or in width, sorry. But the sport, the concept of the sport is very similar. They're both very similar. So same racing, same strategies, almost the same distances. except for the fact that I used to skate marathons on inline skates. It's a lot like cycling in the sense of a company sponsors you and you go around the world and skate these marathons skating under that company. But yeah, speed skating, when I took up short track speed skating, it was a little bit of an adjustment period in my life, but thankfully I was little enough to really not be affected by it too much.
Speaking with Eddie Alvarez here on the Real Property Solutions hotline, and Eddie, you've been all around the world. You've done it. You've been in the Olympics. You've skated, like you just said, in inline skates all over the world, and you've played baseball in the biggest of markets, LA, Miami, in your hometown. That's got to be cool. What drives you to continue this path? I mean, why continue to grind it out in AAA baseball to try and make the big league club? What motivates you to do that?
Very good question, Chris. And simple answer is because I can. I've always been a very late bloomer. And my body still has some years left in it. And plus, I'm absolutely obsessed and in love with the journey of this. So, if God willing, one day, my body shuts down, I'll be more than happy to hang up everything and become a full-time dad and move on to my next career, whichever it may be. But I have the unbelievable support of my family, my wife, and really I have a 2-year-old and a pregnant wife, and another baby on the way. And wow. There's more that I would love than to keep playing, for them to remember their dad playing sports and set an example for them.
That's incredible, man. Well, you're certainly setting an example for not only your kids and your family, but for your teammates this year as you lead the team in batting average for players with double-digit at-bats. There's one guy's ahead of you, but he's only been to the plate 8 times. So, but you've only struck out 13 times. You've walked 13 times. You got 6 stolen bases. OPS over 1, but you kind of, you've kind of had to move from shortstop to second base to maybe get that chance at the next level. What's the difference in, obviously you're having a great year right now. How do you feel like your chances are of moving up to the big club now that you're playing on the other side of the base?
So second base is a position that I've toyed a lot with throughout my whole minor league career. I'm primarily a shortstop, but when I signed with the Dodgers last year, they had approached me about playing in the outfield as well, just because I was swinging it so well last year as well. And that's what got me my ticket up to the big leagues last year with that team. It was, probably one of the greatest teams ever assembled in a regular season, having that 111 win record. But coming here, I've spoken a lot with, front office guys, with Craig Counsell. I told them that I'm willing to do and play wherever, however, just to get myself in that lineup and do the best that I can do, best of my ability to score runs and help my team win. But I'm very comfortable at second base. It's something I played in high school at second as well. Mm-hmm. So throughout my whole career, I've always been able to play up the middle. Now I got to figure out how to get it in the lineup at center field.
Well, it would seem that your versatility is really something that would be valued at that level, Eddie. Again, you've played outfield, you've played middle infield. Do you feel like that's a strength of yours, that you do have that ability to move around and play a lot of different positions?
Oh, absolutely. It opens doors for me. And to be honest with you, I don't have any other choice. When I signed my pro contract with the Chicago White Sox, I signed for no money. I'm not an investment. If you come to a Sounds game and watch me, I'm probably one of the shorter guys on the field. I'm not going to hit 500-foot shots, but I get the job done. I've always been proud of that. I play hard, I play fast, and I have to expose myself to different positions because it's the best opportunity for me to get up back to the big leagues and stick around a little bit longer, especially for a team like Milwaukee. Under Craig Counsell's management, I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces, and if I just keep kind of doing what I'm doing, I really believe that some doors will open up, and I could go back up there and do the best that I can and help the club win.
Well, I'll tell you, Eddie, we are fans of the vertically challenged. Covered Tony Kemp from high school up, and so we can definitely appreciate that verticality, that versatility, and that lack of verticality, I guess. But
yeah,
what are your thoughts?
My goal this year is to hit one. That's what I want to do this year. Hit that. I'm staring right at it right now. Just one.
There you go. What do you feel like? How do you feel about this team right now? I know that things have been a little inconsistent, maybe with so much movement going up to Milwaukee and that kind of thing. But how do you feel about the Sounds as a team?
At this level, you're going to get that a lot. There's always moving pieces. The team is never the same. There's always injuries up there, and there's always movement happening around us. So, something being at the AAA level for, my Lord, 6 years now, I think, roughly. The team you start with is never the team you end with, but that's something you adjust to. But the depth in this organization is ridiculous. I know the record might not show it, but I'm very confident in the fact that things are going to pick up and we're going to get on a little hot streak here just because our lineup's too good. But, the game of baseball.
The game of baseball, indeed. Man, you never know what to expect. The Pittsburgh Pirates are leading the National League, and who thought that was going to happen? So and this has always been kind of a deep league at the AAA level, especially now with 20 teams in the International League. But talk a little bit about being able to kind of see, maybe you have a little leadership in the clubhouse. Do you feel like you being a guy who's been to the show a couple of times and you've kind of made that trip? Are you kind of a leader in the clubhouse for these guys?
Yeah, there's a lot of depth here as well. We have guys like Keston Hira, who's been a huge piece to the Milwaukee Brewers the last 3 years, who unfortunately had a little bit of his downs. He's come back and things have clicked for him recently, and he's kind of a presence in the clubhouse, and other guys as well. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have that have time up in the big leagues that are here that are a strong presence as well. But I try and do my part. We also have a lot of young bucks, and I've been around enough to feel confident enough to give them some advice here and there. But there's a lot of talent, and if I could just have half talent with this mindset, man, I would have a lot of fun in this game. But I love helping. I love helping others around me. I've always been proud of that. I did it in the skating world. I've done it in the baseball world, and I'm going to do that continuing on in the future. Whoever needs and wants to hear my story. It's a unique one for sure. But boy, have I jumped some hurdles.
Well, just be careful jumping those hurdles in skates. That's, I'm sure you could land it, but that's, you never know what might happen. Eddie Alvarez on the Real Property Solutions Hotline here with us on Main Street Sports today. Tonight, the Nashville Sounds will have fireworks. If you are looking for something to do tonight, no better place to be than First Horizon Park. It'd be a great ball game with the Omaha Storm Chasers, and then afterwards, Fox 17 fireworks will take place. So make sure, get out there. Hopefully the team will provide some fireworks during the game and afterwards as well. Eddie, thanks for taking some time with us today, man. We really appreciate it and look forward to seeing you on the diamond here in Nashville.
Appreciate it. See you boys Sunday, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sunday indeed. Again, Eddie Alvarez on the Real Property Solutions Hotline. 615-527-8750, the number to call to buy your house as is. They'll close on your timeline. 7 days, 70 days, does not matter. Take what you want, leave what you don't. Don't even worry about cleaning. Give them a call. Real Property Solutions. Looking forward to continuing some baseball conversation, Mo, as the Braves have a 4-game set with the Mets. Let's just worry about that. and that starts this evening. So we go to a break. We come back, talk a little Braves right after this on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio in just a moment.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think about calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone.
I'm so excited about this new show.
Dino Trek is back again this year. It's bigger than we've ever had it before.
When they're about 5 months old, we'll start seeing them sticking their head out of the pouch, or you might see a foot come out or a tail.
It's like an Airbnb for Joey's. Now, you're not going to see all 3 of them together because cats in general don't get along unless it's time to get along, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh,
yeah.
my.
Well, we're 2/3 of the way there. It's animals, nature, and fun. That's what we're all about. But during that time, we hope that you also learn something, that you're inspired to want to learn something.
What's new at the zoo with Jim Bar 2.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
There is nothing better than drinking an ice-cold beverage while taking in a Nashville Sounds baseball game. Hi, I'm Stephanie Miller with Mornings on Main Street. The Nashville Sounds and Main Street Media Television have teamed up to promote Sunday Family Fun Day here at First Horizon Park, each Sunday home game. Just go to your favorite Main Street Media website and click on Sounds Main Street Media Day banner to register to win free tickets. And then we'll see you here at the ballpark.
April 28th, 1961. Hank Aaron singled to drive in a first-inning run, and Warren Spahn made it stand up in a big way, becoming the second oldest pitcher to throw a no-hitter as the Milwaukee Braves blanked the visiting Giants 1-0. Only a 41-year and 3-month-old Cy Young pitched a no-no at an age older than Spahn, who was 5 days past his 40th birthday at the time of his feat. That was this day in Braves history.
Good times. Good times.
Great oldies.
4-game set coming up with the Mets, but a just disastrous ninth inning last night for the Braves against the Marlins. And as you know, scrolling through Twitter, as I want to do here, a lot of folks with analytics out there, and I come across a tweet that basically says, you know, don't get down on AJ Minter because 9 balls were put in play against him and 6 of them were hits. Only 2 of them had a greater than 300% or 30% chance of being a hit. They were either just hit in the right spot, or, you know, there was a shift on, or somebody was not in a normal position, whatever it may have been. Or the fact that, you know, he put one that painted the outside corner of the plate and was pulled for a 2-run single. You know, you put the ball on the outside corner of the plate and somebody pulls it and it's not a ground out to second base. That's just bad luck. So, I mean, it is unfortunate that the Braves gave up 5 runs in the 9th and obviously lost to the Marlins, but it's also, you know, what are you going to do?
Well, I mean,
was it worth trying to run somebody else out there?
What you're not going to do is you're not going to win them all.
You're not going to win them all. And was it worth running another arm out there when you've got 4 games against the Mets coming up?
No. I mean, Brian Snitker has become such a punching bag that it's easy to take shots at him even when they're not necessarily warranted. I hate being in the position of being a Snitker apologist, but you know, you can question whether or not Minter should have been out there in a 4-run ball game in the 9th.
Especially when he had just pitched the night before.
But at the same time, I have a tough time, and I really need to speak to someone at the professional level about this high leverage, low leverage, non-save situation, save situation type deal, because I don't understand why closers, which AJ's not even supposed to be a closer.
Right. He's our setup
If
guy.
Iglesias is healthy, he's not. But putting your closers in the game in non-save situations more often than not results in these type scenarios. I mean, you've seen it all too often across Major League Baseball, not just the Braves. I don't understand why outs aren't outs. But these guys will tell you, well, their adrenaline flows different in a save situation. Stop it. I don't understand that. And I need somebody to explain that to me like I'm a kindergartner. But that said, you know, maybe he shouldn't have been in there. Maybe he should have. I think he's still got to perform when he is in there. And to your point, Chris, maybe he did perform. Maybe the Marlins just caught some breaks. It happens in that game.
It's baseball, as we just said. I mean, we literally just said it with Eddie Alvarez. It's baseball. You never know. Bad luck is going to happen.
I mean, I hate that that the Braves could not take the momentum of a 4-game sweep into this 4-game series against the Mets. I hate that they go in there having blown a 4-run lead by giving up 5 runs in the 9th inning. I feel like this team will bounce back.
You almost feel like it
might be a wake-up call.
It might be
if they needed one.
By George, what the crap, you know?
Yeah.
Let's go prove that wasn't us.
Yeah, sort of like they did after they got swept by Houston and then thumped Miami 11-0 in the first game of this series.
So
I'd take that.
I'm going to throw this out at you. The Braves tonight will take on the New York Metropolitans at 6:10, and they will have in the lineup, by the way, Michael Harris II.
Yes, yes.
Left-handed David Peterson will be on the bump for the Metropolitan. 1-3 on the year. 7.36 ERA. gives up more than 1.5 walks or hits per inning. Walks a lot of folks, but K's a lot of folks. He'll sit you down with some strikes. But the interesting part, besides the fact that, Michael Harris is back, who is not in this lineup against the left-handed hitter?
Against a left-handed pitcher. That's interesting.
No Marcell Ozuna.
Nope.
Which is obviously the most unique situation here. Eddie Rosario, who, according to a tweet from Grant McCauley, hit 2 home runs in 210 plate appearances against left-handed pitchers from 2020 to 2022. He hit 2 homers off left-handed pitchers against the Marlins this week. Doubled it. So,
and far fewer plate appearances.
Yes,
far fewer.
I mean, not even close. So, is Eddie coming around against left-handed pitching? Certainly give him the opportunity to prove to you that wasn't a fluke. And that's it. This could be the news we've all been waiting for, Mo.
Well, I mean, you needed to get MH2 back. You got to figure out how to get Hilliard in the starting lineup, I think, as well, or get him some ABs. But, you've got...
I'm a little surprised he's not in left in favor of Pilar, but it is New York, so maybe there's something to do with that.
You've got Pilar, Rosario, and Hilliard that you're all going to have to get ABs for. And with Darno still down with, the concussion situation, you've got 2 spots for those guys, either left field or DH. And you just can't. I don't know that afford is the right word, but I just don't think you can continue to run Ozuna out there. There's got to be a point where that's got to, whatever that is, an experiment or a thumbing your nose at the front office or whatever it is. I don't know what's going on there, but it's got to come to a stop.
And tonight is an opportunity with Max Fried on the bump to maybe not have to worry so much about who is doing what in the lineup. Just go out there, get hits, and be done with it. Hopefully you feel like Max Fried gives you a chance to, we don't have to score a lot of runs, so let's just go out there and make sure we're seeing the ball well against a guy that we hit pretty easily.
Against a guy that a lot of people are hitting pretty easily, as witnessed by his 7.36 ERA.
See the ball, hit the ball, and you feel like that's got to be that's got to be what you're looking for if you're Eddie Rosario, Kevin Pilar, and Michael Harris. Harris coming off that rehab stint for, what was he there for, 3 days?
Yeah.
Gwinnett was like, thanks for stopping by.
He made his AAA debut.
and then promptly dipped out.
And dipped. Yeah.
But that's
let's run the bases a little bit better than we have.
I didn't get to see what happened on the Acuna Matt Olson situation, but folks were very upset with Matt Olson for some reason. And
Matt Olson? That's different. That wasn't the upset with that I was expecting, but okay.
There was one guy who said, Acuna's got to run the bases better. And then everybody else in the comments were like, that was on Olson. And I'm like, I don't even know what he did. Like, can somebody tell me what happened?
Let me try to describe it to you. Runners first and second, Wild pitch kind of kicked away from the I don't know if it was Stallings, but from the Marlins catcher, kind of up the first base line. Acuna broke and then realized that it didn't get far enough away and tried to retreat. And when Olsen saw Acuna break, he broke. But he got, as slow as he is, he managed to get too far off first base. And so, yeah, it was bad because once Acuna saw him go, then he tried to get to third and draw a throw, and Olsen managed to get into second. Acuna was out, but yeah, that was on Olsen because, just because you see the guy in front of you go, and everybody knows that Olsen is speed challenged, and I mean that's okay, but just be mindful of that when you're trying to move up. So
you got it here, Justin. Is this it? Let's see it.
Oh, this isn't it. This is San Diego.
Oh yeah,
I'm not. Oh, that's
this is. Gotcha.
This base running blunder. This is Riley.
What was Riley doing? Yeah, we got to run the bases better. This is that's a little ridiculous right there. Okay.
And the thing is, I think it's being aggressive, but it's a fine line between aggressive and reckless, I guess. And some guys got to know what they can and can't do.
Makes sense. Okay. Well, this series should be interesting. Obviously, the Braves have taken 6 of the last 9 from New York. And this 4, I mean, obviously it's late April, early May, so let's not get too carried away. But
well, I'm going to stop you for a second because let's not get too carried away. But I mean, head to head,
I was going to say you need to beat them as many times as you can head to head.
When you have the opportunity to beat them, particularly at their place. So
yeah, that's a massive deal. And
these pitching matchups all seem to favor the Braves to me.
Well, until Monday.
You don't think Elder can beat TBA?
They've got Scherzer here on.
Oh, really?
ESPN.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't looking at ESPN. I was looking at MLB. But I mean,
well, that would be his.
That's probably accurate.
They have nobody for Sunday, so I don't know who they're going to throw Sunday against Morton.
Some guy named Butto, Butto. Like I said, these pitching matchups seem to favor the Braves.
Strider, McGill, yeah. I mean, McGill's a great pitcher, but it's Spencer Strider, and they're going to be on Fox tomorrow, so that means that the Braves are going to suck.
Right. Yeah.
Just FYI.
But I mean, when they're running guys out there whose names we don't know, I mean, I don't know who Butto is.
Your guess.
Jose Butto, or it might be Jose Butto. Then that's okay. I don't know.
Heck if I know, man. Okay, well, I guess you're right. That makes you feel a little bit better. Let's see.
Butto is 0-1 with a 2.79 in 2 starts. It's got for what it's worth, a 1.97 whip.
Oof. He's only thrown 9 innings. Not looked good in those 9 innings.
Yeah, 3 strikeouts, 10 walks.
Okay. I like it then.
He lost to the Nationals Tuesday.
Oh, I saw that where they put up a bunch of runs.
Well, he walked 6 and struck out 1. Gave up 2 earned runs in 4 2/3. So,
okay.
Make of that what you will.
Yeah, they lost 2 of 3 to the Nationals. So,
Hate it for them.
And the one game they won, the Nationals still put up 8 runs. They just happened to score 9.
Goodness.
So you can hit this team.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Mets won't score 9 runs against the Braves in any one game this weekend.
I would agree with that.
So,
and if they do, it'll be against the bullpen. Sheesh. Hopefully, that's getting shored up right now. Anyway, all right, there you have it. Little Braves chatter. We'll continue talking Braves on Monday, but we're going to take a break because we want to talk NFL draft. So stick around. Main Street Sports State, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio right after this. Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Attention Tennessee homeowners, we want to buy your house. Hi, we are Real Property Solutions, a local real estate investing group. We pay cash for all types of property, so you walk away with more money in your pocket because we eliminate any fees, closing costs, and commissions. Now the best part, we can buy your house as is, meaning you don't have to do a thing to your property. You get to take what you want, leave what you don't, and don't even worry about cleaning. We close on your timeline, whether that's 7 days or 70 days. Interested in selling? Just give us a call and we'll come out to your property and quote you a cash offer within 24 hours. Please call 615-527-8750. That's 615-527-8750.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Yow and Maurice Patton here, and it is Friday, but it's also day 2 of the NFL draft, which means rounds 2 and 3 tonight, 6 p.m., and you can watch it on ESPN and on NFL Network. First of all, Mo, who won yesterday's draft?
Yesterday?
Who won the first round?
Houston.
You said that awfully confidently when I think there's at least an arguable answer.
Okay, that's fine. You asked me, I told you. Houston.
Houston. You think they got, I mean, obviously they got a franchise type quarterback and the best defensive player in the draft.
Now, so I mean, I'm willing to listen to other options, but I mean, you asked me the question, that's my answer.
I think Philadelphia has an argument.
I think Philadelphia has an argument, but I think Philadelphia is coming from a position where they just played in the Super Bowl.
Well, I think that's why they won the draft. Because they didn't have to gamble on a potential great quarterback, right?
You're right. No,
They
well,
went
I
and
mean,
got two defensive guys who are going to elevate them from playing for a Super Bowl to probably winning one in the next 2 or 3 years.
but here's the thing about Philadelphia. I mean, they don't have nearly as far to come. I mean, the floor is way different for them than it is for Houston. 2, I think the 2 picks that Houston executed really give D'Amico Ryans in his first season a chance to really establish what it is that Houston is going to be under him, as long as they give him more than 1 year.
No, I don't disagree with you. I just feel like, and that's the only reason I think Philadelphia has an argument is because I think they went from, a one time kind of got surprised that Philadelphia was in the Super Bowl team to we expect Philadelphia to be in the Super Bowl in the next couple of years.
Well, I have to beg a little ignorance as it relates to Philadelphia's roster, because I don't really know exactly where Jalen Carter and where Nolan Smith fit in terms of need. That's part of my concern in terms of, did Philadelphia win the draft yesterday? I don't know that either of those guys are day one starters for them. Are they? Again, I don't know enough about Philadelphia to make that statement or know that. But I know
I think those guys are day one starters for anybody. And I mean, you're putting a guy like, Derek Barnett on the other side of Jalen Carter and now I can't think of a stupid name.
Fletcher Cox.
No,
I don't.
Who's the other guy they drafted?
Oh, Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith. So you're talking about a defensive line that includes Jordan Davis, Derek Barnett, Nolan Smith on either side of each other. Derek Barnett and Nolan Smith on either side. You can't block that. Not for an entire game. I mean, they're going to be so good that they're going to be able to rush 4 or 5 and never have to worry about blitzing. That's how good they're going to be on the defensive front. And you know as well as I do that the trenches is where the game is won. And if you don't, and if in the NFL, if you don't have to send 6, 7 guys,
don't.
You're
ahead of the game.
You're way ahead of the game. And I think they've got the best defensive line maybe in the history of the game. Now, obviously those 2 guys, what if they don't pan out? Who knows? But boy,
if they do,
I would be, I think it's a long shot that they don't, for one.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I don't see, there's nothing that tells me that they won't. I just, like I said, I just don't know enough about Philadelphia's defense to know how much of an upgrade those 2 guys are over what was already there on an NFC championship roster.
Sure.
And that's why Houston is my answer, because what CJ Stroud is replacing, what Will Anderson is coming into, what D'Amico Ryans has planned, most likely, for how to use a guy who probably reminds him a little bit of himself coming out of Alabama.
As long as he's not lined up against Darnell Wright.
Well, Darnell Wright, who went 7 picks after him. I mean,
and I wonder how much
you don't eat everybody's lunch.
I wonder how much of an impact Will Anderson going third had on Darnell Wright's, I guess, draftability. Although it appeared the Bears were pretty high on Darnell from the get. And based on some Twitter chatter that I've read, they were kind of set on him from, as soon as he passed their tests, basically after his interviews with them, and they felt like 10 was an easy spot to get him because nobody was going to take him before that, because obviously Skoronski and Johnson were there. So they got their guy at 10.
And good for them. I mean, I feel like anytime you can get your guy, that's a good thing. And as we talked a little bit last night and earlier today, I wonder if Darnell Wright was on Tennessee's board had he gotten to 11. I wonder how they felt about him relative to Peter Skoronski. But Wright, I've not heard Wright being able to swing down to guard necessarily. And I think, again, Tennessee kind of likes Skoronski's flexibility as it relates to his ability to play down inside, maybe. Because it felt like they were good with the offensive linemen they signed in free agency. That's why I was a little surprised at that pick.
I mean, I think Darnell Wright's going to be a great player for the Bears, and certainly Justin Fields needs all the protection he can get.
Right, exactly.
As do Titans, as do Titans quarterbacks, whomever they may be. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Now, I was a little surprised to see 2 running backs go in the top 12, Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson.
I was more surprised to see Jahmyr Gibbs go than Bijan Robinson, though.
Yeah, no, I just didn't think that 2 were going to go that early.
But what I'm saying is, you didn't think Gibbs was going to go that early.
No, I didn't think he was going to go. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to be a top 10 picker. I certainly didn't think he'd be top 12 because of the Lions. To me, I mean, I guess they needed a running back, but did they need one in the
first round?
First 12 picks?
Yeah.
That's iffy at best.
At best.
And I'm not sure who else would have gone running back at that point. So, I mean, I feel like you probably could have gotten him a little later. Then again, they went and got Jack Campbell at linebacker a couple picks later. So that right there just kind of tells you.
Again, I'm not familiar enough with Detroit to know, but I would have thought that they might have gone receiver.
That was my thought. I thought receiver was kind of where they should have gone. But clearly, as we just mentioned, this is a receiver deep draft. So you feel like you can get
nobody felt the need to take one until Seattle took JSN at number 20.
Yeah, I thought Patriots.
And then 3 in a row went off the board right after that.
Yeah, I thought the Patriots not going wide receiver was a little bit of a surprise. I thought Detroit not going in one of those 2 picks at receiver was a bit of a surprise. I think Seattle going receiver was a bit of a surprise.
I was a little surprised about that as well. I mean, you've got DK Metcalf and you've got
Tyler
Lockett. Yes.
And as Bernard said, having 3 in this day and age is probably great it's probably necessary, but is it so necessary to take a first round guy in a receiver deep draft? I don't know. I mean, and then like you said, 4 straight wide receivers go. It was Quentin Johnston right after that from TCU, then Zay Flowers, then Jordan Addison. I think Zay and Quentin were kind of interchangeable. So I'm curious if, what San Diego. Los Angeles Chargers saw in Johnston.
Showing your age.
Over Zay there. But Justin sent me a tweet from earlier, and I don't know if you have you seen this tweet from Antonio Brown?
Oh God. No, I've not.
Now,
how come I didn't get drafted? Is that what it says?
Antonio Brown said he's excited to return to the NFL this year. # Ravens flock.
What? Oh my goodness.
And my favorite reply may be Antonio Brown has agreed to a deal with the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, however, did not agree.
Reminds me of a coaching friend of mine. I told him something about somebody committing one time, and he's like, have they committed to him? You know?
Yeah, you can say you're committed anywhere you want, but the other side's there's got to be two.
And unless there's a scholarship there for you to sign, then yeah. Well, that's interesting.
I don't think he's going to be a member of the
flock,
Baltimore Ravens, but I think those 4 wide receivers were really solid picks. I think there are plenty left in this draft, and where the Titans go at pick 41, I don't know.
I'm telling you, I really don't think they could go wrong with a Tennessee receiver, whether it be Tillman or Hyatt.
Now, there are some sources across the league, according to Mike Giardi, who said Mike Giardi of I have no idea who he is. He's out of Boston.
Okay.
Covers stuff for the NFL Network.
Okay.
Said that there are some league sources saying the Titans are working the phones in an effort to move up in the second round, but I'm not sure it's necessary to move up in the second round. 2 reasons. One, you need a wide receiver. You just go get one of the 5 that are available. I don't think 5 are going to go ahead of you. And 2, there's going to be 2 quarterbacks available. I don't think anybody ahead of them are going to take quarterback. Now, I think the Rams are going to take a wide receiver, so you got to maybe they're just trying to get the receiver they want so the Rams don't get him at the 5th pick. But that's the only thing I can think of.
I just hope that I don't care what rationale you have used to bring yourself closer to accepting Will Levis. I hope they're not trying to trade up to get him.
Well, let me just give you the teams who would likely go wide receiver.
I'm trying to get the round 2 draft order up as we speak.
Cardinals at 33. The Lions at 34. We're surprised they didn't go wide receiver in the first round. The Cardinals want to get rid of DeAndre Hopkins, and they need somebody who can take that role. And if they don't get rid of DeAndre Hopkins, they got a solid guy to go with him, right?
Right.
The Lions need a wide receiver. The Colts could use a wide receiver for their new quarterback. The Rams need a wide receiver. Now, everybody else is kind of iffy. I think Carolina could potentially go receiver. I think New Orleans could go receiver. So if the Titans want to make sure they get their guy,
they've got to go up to number 1.
They got to go up to or you trade for 33 with the Cardinals and get DeAndre Hopkins.
No.
But what does it take to get him?
I don't know what it takes to get him. I don't care what it takes to get him. We've been down that road.
Yeah, but imagine getting DeAndre Hopkins and taking a receiver. Then you're talking about Treylon Burks, DeAndre Hopkins, and a Jalen Hyatt? Yes, please.
Fool me once, shame on you. I mean, I've forgotten the guy's name from Atlanta now.
Julio?
Yes, Julio Jones 2 years ago. Robert Woods last year. I'm kind of done with veteran receivers.
Apparently, they're not expecting to trade DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know, man. I mean, there's a big difference in what D-Hop, Julio and Robert Woods were both coming off injuries. I mean, I know he's 30.
I just think I'll let somebody else make that trade for D-Hop. I think I'll sit at 41 and see who's there at that point.
I mean, it's a deep draft, but I don't know that you can let 5 go off the board. Maybe you wait and see what a couple other teams do. Maybe you sit.
I mean, if that's the case, I'm either you got to go up or you got to sit, because I don't think you're going to get in the middle of that run if the run that you think could happen does happen. I mean, Indianapolis isn't going to trade with you. You're in the same division with them.
Right.
And if Arizona, Detroit, and Indy all go receiver, what have you got that the Rams want? And I don't think you're going to have more than 4 in a row go. Arizona, Detroit, Indy, and the Rams. Seattle's not going to go receiver.
No, but I think Carolina and New Orleans both could. Because Carolina, obviously, with a newer quarterback, they want to get him somebody that can go get the ball.
So do you try to get up to Seattle then?
That might be the play. I mean, of the wide receivers,
assuming they're going receiver there.
See, and to me, I think they have to, but what else would you do?
I'm going to be honest, and bias may be playing into it, probably is. But if Hendon Hooker's on the board at 41, I think you got to think about him.
Oh, I agree. I think you think about him. Because again, as we've mentioned, what do you do after this year? Ryan Tannehill is
and that's what I had I hadn't thought a whole lot about that until we discussed it yesterday before the show. I mean, Tannehill going into the last year of his contract, even if you ride with him this year, you're not likely going to bring him back. Now, word on the street is next year's quarterback draft class is a better class, but
it ain't deep enough for you to pick at 22.
Well, that's a hell of an assumption.
I mean, let's be honest. And again, you have two things here. Either Ryan Tannehill is protected, and we feel pretty good about this offense when Ryan Tannehill's protected and Derrick Henry has something decent to run behind.
Mm-hmm.
And we already, by the way, have one of the best defenses in the league. I mean, they were a win away from being in the playoffs and having to pick 21st anyway in this draft and being under 500 doing it. So, or Tannehill goes down or something happens and you ride with Malik, and then Malik ends up, say he doesn't play well. Say you end up picking, 5th, 6th, or 7th. I mean, do you want to take that gamble? I don't.
What
this team's going to the playoffs?
What happens to Malik if they take another quarterback?
See, that's the thing is I think he's a practice squad guy.
And doesn't somebody else pick him off the practice squad?
I don't know.
Or do they?
Based off last year, do you think other NFL GMs? And again, we know, but you got to sign him to the active roster if you take him off the practice squad.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody's going to sign him to an active roster unless they just get a couple quarterbacks hurt.
Again, the thing is, though, and I've said it ad nauseum, I'm not convinced that Malik Willis can't play based on what happened last year on this team.
I'm not either, but I don't think anybody's signing him to a I don't think anybody's signing him to an active roster. So, maybe he gets the chance to compete with a Hendon Hooker if you take Hooker at 41.
Yeah.
But which would you rather have based off what you know?
I feel like I'd rather have Hooker, to be honest, but
I think so too.
I feel bad feeling that way, honestly.
It's like you can't help it because you still feel like, hey, Malik Willis has not gotten an opportunity.
Not a fair opportunity.
Not a fair shot.
The opportunities that he had were behind a bad offensive line and with a bad offensive coordinator.
And we're not the only ones who think this. As I am former professional football coach and CFL director of player personnel, Ron Selesky, said, you got to find out if Willis can play first before you take a quarterback. But if Hooker's there, it's hard to say no.
I think so.
It's hard to say no based off of, the fact that you're going to have to do something next year.
Yeah, you feel like.
And is signing Tannehill to a 1 or 2 year deal what you want to do? Here's what I would do. Here's what I would do. I would see if there's any interest from Atlanta to get Desmond Ridder and Cordero Patterson, now that they have Bijan Robinson, to Tennessee. What would it take to get those two guys to Tennessee, including Ryan Tannehill?
You think Atlanta would rather have Tannehill than Ridder?
I think Arthur Smith would rather have Tannehill. He's been to an AFC championship game with him. And now he thinks he's got Derrick Henry 2.0 and Bijan Robinson. And oh, by the way, you don't think that Kyle Pitts is at least as good as Jonnu Smith? Sure. I do.
Yeah.
I think Arthur Smith would feel really comfortable with Ryan Tannehill leading.
The hold up to your proposal, though, is I think they took Bijan Robinson to play with Cordero Patterson, not instead of.
Yeah, but if you can get other pieces, I think he'd be willing.
Yeah, that's a thought.
That's what I would. That's the phone call I'm making if I'm renting Carthen.
Mm-hmm.
So, real quick before we get out of here, Mo, Grizzlies play tonight in Game 6, trying to force a Sunday Game 7. Can they do it in LA?
I would never say that this team can't do something. Just because Ja is so dynamic. And I think both these teams are so mercurial. You don't know what you're going to get out of either of them from one game to the next. So, I mean, I would not bet on it, but certainly they've got to be motivated knowing that Game 7 is back at their place. So
last year, I did not lose a single bet that I placed in the playoffs on the Memphis Grizzlies. I've not bet any this year, mainly because I just haven't put money in my DraftKings account. Cashed out last year, just haven't done anything with it. But that being said, the Lakers are a 5-point favorite, and I'm betting on the Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if they win.
But you're betting on the cover close. 5, huh?
Yep. So I got the Grizzlies tonight at +5. Take that as you will. We'll be back on Monday at 2:00 to react to the weekend. Hopefully it includes the Memphis Grizzlies getting to the second round on Main Street Sports Today. Mo?
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.